On Thanksgiving, millions of Americans will gather around their tables to thank God for their many blessings. But some Americans say it's not a day to give thanks at all. Andrew Garrett explains why.
Instead of celebrating Thanksgiving this Thursday, some Native Americans will instead observe what they call a National Day of Mourning. One Native American website says it's a myth that Thanksgiving is a happy time. For many Indian people, the site says, Thanksgiving is a time of mourning, of remembering how a gift of generosity was rewarded by theft of land and seed corn, extermination of many from disease and gun, and near total destruction of many more from forced assimilation. As currently celebrated in this country, Thanksgiving is a bitter reminder of 500 years of betrayal returned for friendship. Radio talk show host and author Michael Medved says the belief that America's founding brought genocide to Native Americans is one of 10 big lies about America, which is also the title of his latest book.
Well, Michael Medved's a wonderful guy. He's such a provocative thinker, and it's always a pleasure to have Michael with us. Michael, welcome back to the 700 Club.
Well, thanks very much, Pat. Great to be speaking to you just on the eve of Thanksgiving.
Your book, The 10 Big Lies About America. First of all, we used to call those guys Indians, and we have a Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they call themselves Indians, but we have to call them Native American. What's the deal?
Well, it's part of political correctness, and really that's a lot of what my book is designed to rebut. There seems to be a desire out there to make Americans feel guilty rather than grateful. And no country can be happy, no country can be successful if it's ashamed of itself or if it fails to express the kind of gratitude that is the whole theme of the holiday. And by the way, I hate to break this news to folks, but one of the things people find out in reading my book is the gratitude in Thanksgiving is not supposed to be gratitude toward the Indians or Native Americans. It's gratitude toward God, who has also been a pretty big part of the consciousness and culture in this country.
Well, that's being taught in some textbooks, isn't it? That Thanksgiving was to give thanks to the Indians. That's what the texts say.
Well, of course, that's because you can't mention the G word, the God word, in school. Big lie number 3 in my book is that lie that I know you've spoken about and written about passionately, the lie that says our founders set out to create a secular nation. They never did such a thing. They understood that we could only keep a republic, we could only keep our liberty with a deeply religious nation. One of the things I talk about in the book is the idea that you can't sing any patriotic songs, not the Star-Spangled Banner, which mentions God, in God we trust in the last verse, not America the Beautiful, God shed his grace on thee, not Battle Hymn of the Republic or God Bless America, any of them, without mentioning the Creator, who has always been thanked as the source of our liberty.
Where did this come from, and why did we let it? It's like a virus that has infiltrated our thinking. Who's responsible, and why do we let them get away with it?
Well, I think it has to do with a point of view that has emerged particularly since World War II, where people want us to be more like Europe. People want us to be more like the other nations of the world. The truth is, as President Reagan understood, as most Americans understand, America's different. It's always been unique and distinctive. And the same way that, and that, by the way, is one of the other big lies that I write about, is the idea that there is no such thing as an American identity. We actually are a multicultural country. Americans have everything in common. And when people talk about the melting pot idea, which was actually a phrase based on a popular play of 1905, a melting pot is not a term of food preparation, it's a term of metallurgy, of taking two different kinds of metal and blending them to make something stronger and more lasting and more permanent.
What are these lies, these 10 lies, what do they do to us? What is the danger to our existence today and their future happiness?
Well, they demoralize us, and they mislead us, and they infect our politics. Big lie number 6 in my book is the lie that says that the only solution to economic hard times is government programs. Sound familiar? Mm-hmm. And the truth of the matter is, you can go back and look. that government programs have usually prolonged depressions, as they prolonged the Great Depression, not shortened them. The most successful depressions and recessions that we've dealt with are the ones where the leaders have been wise enough to allow the economy to take its normal course. And no, government programs do not solve poverty, they perpetuate poverty, and most Americans should take a look at our history and understand that.
Well, you know, when you look at France that was socialist and the troubles they're having, and you look at Europe that is just wallowing in economic malaise, you wonder, why would the United States want to go that route?
Well, why indeed? And why would we want to go in the direction of Europe morally? And that's another big lie about America, the idea that we've already reached a tipping point, that there is no hope for America, that we are in an irreversible moral decline. Pat, the fascinating thing for me is you can go back to the beginning of American civilization and find people who predicted the end of American civilization. Every generation has said this is the worst generation morally ever. They can't all be right, and actually we have been punctuated, our history, by great awakenings. Historians have identified at least 3 of them. I think we may be in for a 4th awakening, which is maybe just beginning.
Well, Michael, I'm so delighted that you've written this book. And ladies and gentlemen, what a marvelous book to get just about Thanksgiving, Christmas time. 10 Big Lies About America. Michael Medved, you don't want to miss it. It's one of those good things you need to read. It's available in bookstores all around the country, and we appreciate this great man, what he's doing.